Beijing, 2012.
我要鸡肉炒面，他要
Can we get some bottled water with a seal? I don't know where you've gotten this from.
他只想要矿泉水，密封的。
I'll have the shrimp fried rice. Don't put any MSG in it. And I know you'll say you don't use MSG, but then I leave with a migraine. So can you actually not put MSG in it? Thanks.
Monosodium glutamate, food enhancer, rumored to cause dehydration and headaches.
You shouldn't.
Studies do not support this.
What?
Forget it.
No, what?
You can't be so blunt with people here.
I'm American. We have a global reputation to uphold.
Well, you look Chinese. People assume you're Chinese.
I should fucking hope not. Pass me the hot sauce.
Hey, you remember the food matching? You know, the matching thing with food? You remember this?
No.
Whenever she served us a plate of something to be shared between the two of us, she'd insist on absolute equality. So we had to count the grapes or the peas to make sure we got exactly our share. And she never put odd numbers on the plate.
That didn't happen.
No, she did this till I was like 6.
Well, I was there. I was older. That didn't happen. There was a time where you did that. You counted what you ate, but that's because you...
No, this was earlier, like way earlier.
Then you're conflating things.
No,
Also, can we not... Let's not suddenly treat her with nostalgia now she's...
Jules.
Fuck, as though literal decomposition somehow reduces her level of fucking toxicity.
That's not what
I'm late.
No, you're all good. Eva, Amanda Carlson, International Project Manager of the Digital Freedom Fund. Amanda, Eva Chen, our translator.
What, you guys sisters?
We are, actually.
Oh, for real? You hired your sister?
Yep.
Regretfully.
Well, that's convenient. Your sister's a translator. Nice. Well, nice to meet you, Eva.
Yeah, ditto.
So, any word?
It's not good. We're down a couple.
How many?
Of the 15 I spoke to, 5 of them are willing to sign on as does, 3 willing to be named plaintiffs.
Damn it. Seriously?
A lot of these people are still under close surveillance, Julie. It's a big ask.
Fuck. Well, okay. Fuck. Any of the 3 willing to travel?
1.
The professor?
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think from what little he's told me, I think his testimony would be pretty compelling.
He's willing. I mean, he'll testify.
We'll have to negotiate that tomorrow. There's some kind of... He's on board in principle, but there's some kind of reservation.
Safety?
He wouldn't say over the phone. I think it's best we discuss it in person.
Okay. What about the document? Can we authenticate it?
Well,
Amanda, seriously?
I mean, it's WikiLeaks. They have a near-perfect record of document authentication.
We can't get up in front of a Dallas jury and say WikiLeaks has a... Most of these people won't know the difference between WikiLeaks and Wikipedia.
Wait, so you need to, authenticate the document?
Eva, I keep telling you, you don't have to...
Jules, surely it's beyond reasonable doubt that the head of China Ops saw it.
Why don't you let me be the judge on what reasonable doubt entails here? WikiLeaks is not beyond reasonable doubt.
Wait, this thing was presented at a board meeting.
Evie, shut up.
And there aren't any other copies?
Not with this appendix. For all we know, they shredded the rest.
Oh. Well, it's just, maybe this is stupid, but this thing is dated. There's a date in the header.
Eva.
No, Julie,
Don't companies with public stock, don't they have to publish the minutes of board meetings? So, couldn't you cross-reference the agenda of the board meeting with the document to prove it's real? And couldn't you check the attendance and prove the guy was there, so he had to have seen it?
Wow. You go to law school?
That's,
No.
shit.
I majored in Asia Studies.
That's good.
What kind of jobs do you get with that?
This, I guess.
Evie,
Yeah.
that's fucking good.
I love you.
Oh. Okay.
Dallas, 2015.
Now, everyone in this room agrees that there are human rights abuses going on in China. That's a well-documented fact.
There's actually a great deal of debate about the extent...
But the defense
Okay.
is going to argue that a single bullet point is insufficient evidence of Onus's criminal collusion. After all, this is the only copy we have access to. How can we prove that Mr. McLaren and his colleagues actually saw this document? Well, because we have access to the public minutes of this board meeting. You can see clearly here that Marshall McLaren, the head of China operations, is listed as being in attendance. What does this all mean? It means Mr. McLaren not only saw this document, but he saw it before their contract was renewed, which means he not only helped to build the Golden Shield, but he did it in the full knowledge that this was one of the ministry's central goals, that they specifically and explicitly intended on targeting Zhuangzi activists.
Beijing, 2012.
It's sort of ingenious.
Well, you spend enough time with lawyers.
Dude, you just made our case. Take the compliment.
Okay, thanks.
So this was a surprising WeChat request.
Well, like, I don't know, it's our only night in Beijing. There's all these bars around. You seemed cool, so I figured you'd be the sort of person I'd want to get trashed and go dancing with.
Can I just clarify something here?
What?
Like, is this a drink or like a drink?
Oh, no, yes, I am definitely trying to fuck you.
Okay, good. I thought so.
Yeah, there should be no ambiguity about that.
So, okay, I wish people could just... Right? Because it's like, there's enough miscommunication in the world. I don't want to spend all night reading between the lines and, like, searching for a sign or symbol, like a sexual visual metaphor. Because if you just, like, say up front what you mean, then, like, you don't need to translate, you know?
I guess I should go.
So I take it Julie's not coming?
No, she'd be sort of pissed if she knew I was doing this.
Does she not?
Oh, no, that's not. No, she thinks I fuck her colleagues to piss her off.
Do you?
Kind of. So, her partner, not like her partner in life, her partner-in-law, Richard.
Oh, yeah, Richard. I know Rich.
Oh.
You and Rich. That's quite a... I mean, not to cast aspersions, he's a lovely guy, but you could do better.
How much better?
A lot better.
Okay. I really want to ask you like a million questions about your amazing life and your super cool job, but first I have to make out with you, otherwise I will not be able to concentrate on what you're saying.
That's heartening, but you actually shouldn't.
Why?
Because you're in a public place and homosexuality was illegal in China until 1997.
So making out with you would be like a seditious act?
Not anymore, but potentially uncomfortable for the people around you.
But we can finish these drinks and make out in the bathroom.
We can, in fact, do that.
Outstanding. Tell me about your exciting and fabulous job.
My job. My job. It's a lot of advocacy, a lot of ranting, raving, tweeting. Not a lot of downtime.
Yeah, I get that vibe.
I work myself to death. It's pretty unsustainable. Blah, enough me. Is this like your full-time gig, being your sister's translator?
Oh, well, I just graduated, so I'm between.
Should I come back?
Actually, I'm a sex worker. I work in the sex industry.
Oh,
Oh,
guess not.
Yeah, I mean, informally, I'm not,
if you don't mind, what exactly...
I date people.
Oh,
Specifically, I date these guys, these older guys, rich white guys, and they pay for my rent and my clothes and my food and my everything.
oh, so you're like a...
Yeah. Yep.
Do you fuck them?
I didn't really intend to when I started out, but then one of them offered me a lot of money, so now, yeah, I do.
All of them?
One of them I just give blowjobs to because he's like in his 70s.
Oh,
Yep. That's what I do for money.
well, hey, no judgment.
Oh, feel free to judge me. I'm a terrible person.
I don't really know you at all, but you don't seem like a terrible person.
I'm sort of like a generally decent person masking like a depraved sociopath.
I feel like this is your way of telling me I shouldn't date you.
Yeah, it's a tactic.
Well, I guess it's a good thing you live in DC.
Yeah.
And I live in Melbourne.
Yep.
And this is our only night in Beijing.
Guess so.
Well, I feel a sudden and overwhelming urge to powder my nose.
Meet me in the bathroom. Dallas, 2015.
Mr. McLaren, I get the sense you're not a fan of ambiguities. So the next question I'm going to ask you is going to be a wholly unambiguous question. A question you can answer with a simple yes or no. Do you think you can do that for me?
I think I can manage that.
Did you see this document at the ONUS board meeting on July 31st, 2006?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
I'll remind you you're under oath.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You can remember the dollar value per share of your stocks in 2005, but you can't remember seeing this document?
I mean, come on, we're talking about a bullet point. Can you remember any bullet points you read a decade ago?
But you received this document directly from the CCP.
Not that I recall, not specifically. Look, the fact is...
Mr. McLaren, do you
The fact is
seriously...
that this document it was one of hundreds, probably thousands of documents that came across my desk while we were negotiating the contract renewal. I mean, to be honest with you, it was probably thrown in the packet by an intern. God knows if I ever read it.
Wouldn't you say that displays corporate negligence on your part?
I guess that's for the jury to decide.
Actually, it's for you to answer.
From where I stand, Miss Chen, I made the internet faster for 1.4 billion people. If that's corporate negligence, then I guess I'm negligent.
No further questions.
Train from Beijing to Yingcheng, 2012.
What'd you get up to last night?
Nothing. Got trashed.
The usual, then.
Yeah.
Oh, I like trains.
Me too.
Calming. You know, I thought about it. For college, moving here. With you and Mom.
No, you didn't.
I did. You know, I thought it might be good to get culturally reacclimated. So I could have, like, an actual connection to this place. Thing is, though, you look at what's going on in this country, doesn't exactly inspire stirrings of national pride.
Right.
That was good work, by the way, with the thing.
Oh, thanks.
You ever thought about it? Law school?
Don't have the grades.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's courses or something.
Just because... Forget it.
No, what?
You don't have to give me brownie points for doing a smart thing, Jules. I'm smart. I just don't feel the need to, like, broadcast it all the time. It hasn't been all fun and games, you know. Being the comparatively stupid sibling.
Eva, you're not... Do you honestly think that?
You're a lawyer, I'm a... whatever.
Yeah, but, like, emotional intelligence, you got me beat. Got the emotional intelligence of a brick.
I mean, whatever, that's just transactional logic. You work out what someone wants from you and what you want from them, then you make the transaction.
Christ, dude, go to law school. Make that logic billable by the hour.
Yeah, maybe. I'll look into it.
You should. Transactional logic. You're a pretty messed up kid, you know that?
Pot meet kettle.
Huh. Yeah, no shit.
I mean, like, all things considered, our childhood, we're pretty well adjusted.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm pretty...
Damaged.
Yeah, well, I'm...
Also damaged.
But, you know, we're... You know...
Yeah.
Not sure on this one. I think it's expressing a kind of solidarity or yearning.
So if this guy's testimony, if it's compelling, it could make your case, right?
Pretty much.
So what do you need him to say?
That he's suffering.
I admit I wasn't being totally candid at the outset. I do have a degree of professional ego, you see. The most difficult part is actually getting it wrong. The moments where you actually hinder communication, shut down a dialogue, it invalidates your work. Because in those moments, you prove that the very attempt of taking a thought from one place, one culture, one set of given circumstances, and reimagining that thought for another set of circumstances, well, you prove that in reality, they're only false equivalences. You can approximate, but that's all it ever is. That's my job, in fact, is not really to translate, but to interpret. Not to transmit truth to truth, but to give you informed approximations. Beijing, 2006.
这一台红外线照相机，一台光谱仪和一台光度计。
It has an infrared camera, a spectrograph, and a photometer.
老李，
Li,
照相机是最重要的部分。
this camera is the most important part.
老李，
Li,
吃点东
eat
西。
something.
哎，在未来的10年里，
In 10 years,
我们会拍摄到宇宙里以前从来没有看过的部分。
we'll have photographed parts of the universe we've never seen before.
现在改行还不晚。
It's not too late for a career change.
哎，你认为我有资格成为天体物理学家吗？
You think I'm smart enough for astrophysics?
依我看，
In my opinion,
你会是个很糟糕的宇航员。
you'd make a terrible astronaut.
不是宇航员
Not an astronaut.
是
Exoplanetier.
你忘
Did you
了
forget you have a sleeping child?
让他醒
Better
醒
waken here.
早点让
It's not
孩子对
harmful
天
to
文学
instill a
展现
child
兴趣
with an
挺好
early
的
love of astronomy.
你拿到信
Did you
件
get the
了吗？
mail?
他们都做
What did they
什么
do?
我们只
We
是喝茶
drank tea.
他们问了
What did
你
they
什么
ask you?
没什么重要
The
的问题，
questions aren't
只
important.
是例行公
It's
事。
just a ritual.
他们问了
They ask a
问一个
question.
问题，我说没有
I。say no.
他们又问
They
另外一
ask
个
a
问题，
question.
我还说没
I
有。
say no.
然后他们就
They
把信
give
件
me
还
the
给我。
mail.
我不明
I
白
don't，understand.
小梅，
May,
他们怎么不
they're not
截取
taking
张
Dr.
博士的
Zhang's mail, are
信件？
they?
我以前
I
给你解释
explained
过
this
就
to
行
you
了。
already.
全国就只
So
有
you're
你
the
个网
only
络专
networks
家
expert in China?
这手
Your
机
phone.
怎么了？
What?
就
Just in case.
太荒
This
谬
is
了！
stupid.
小梅，
May,
政府
the government has access to all kinds of information.
不要把我当小孩。
Talk to me like I'm a child.
大家都知道这个
Everyone
吧
knows that.
现在到
This is
2006了
2006.
没有人偷
No one
听手
bugs
机
phones anymore.
我想跟你说
I'm
清
trying
楚
to explain something to you.
奥运会
Since the
是
announcement about the Olympics, the government is cracking down.
怕人
They're afraid of people climbing the wall.
什么墙？
What wall?
防火
The
墙，
firewall.
政府要
The government
数
is
十亿元
investing
来加强
billions of yuan in
防火墙
improving our firewalling system.
这跟
What is this?
我教
I
学
teach
生建
people to
过滤
build
系统
filtering systems.
我是
That's
专
my
门干
area
这行
of expertise.
如果你
If
知
you
道怎
know
么
how
去
to
建
build them,
你肯
you
定
know
会
how
知
to
道
break
怎么
through
去攻
them.
破。这就是
That's
我
why
们
our
信
mail
赖
is
客户
being
的
held.
原因。
老李，
Lee,
你要是
if you were
亲自上
involved in
任何事
anything,
我没有
I am not.
我明白。
I know.
但如果
But if you
有的话
were,
你一定
you
会
would
告诉
tell
我
me.
吧？
当然，
Of course.
即使这会给
Even
小
if you
小
would put
或
me
我
or
带来
Xiao
危险
in danger,
那样的话你不是要
then you
更
wouldn't
好
want to know.
这不是你一
It's
个
not
人的
up
决
to
定
you.
我们是
We're
一家人
family.
当然，
Of course.
记住
Remember,
你对
if
我
you
食
break a
言的
promise
话
to me,
知道
I know
我会毁了我自己。
I destroy myself. In the first year of their marriage, Lee drunkenly kissed a colleague at a staff party. When he broke the news to May, she did not cry. Instead, she set him down and calmly articulated her feelings about breaking a promise to the person you love. May explained that when you choose to love a person, you're also making a moral choice about the kind of person you want to be. In loving someone, you destroy your former self and create a new self in the image of the person you love. As such, every time you break a promise to a person you love, you destroy yourself, at least the present version of yourself, the self you have created in the image of your lover. May said she grew up in a village prone to earthquakes, so she had a high threshold for destruction. Then she kissed him on his eyelids. May, I'm not involved in anything. Once the Olympics are over, things will go back to the way they were. The Olympics are in 2 years. Is it going to be like this for 2 years? Can I turn my phone on now? I'm losing my game. Aya, we can't have that. Why are you staring? I like watching you play with yourself. Pervert. Give me a kiss. Rephrase that. Kiss me? Almost there. Kiss me, please. Yingcheng, 2012.
You have a beautiful home.
他说您的家很漂亮。
小梅最近布置了一下。
He says she's redecorated.
房子得改装成适合轮椅的。
What?
She said they had to refit the house for his wheelchair.
我去泡茶啊。
She's making tea.
Shall we, Amanda, can you take the lead on this?
Sure. So Professor Lee, as we discussed,
他说
our case will be a lot
我们的案
stronger
子会更加有
the
利。
more members of
如果我
Zhuangzi
们
we
能
can
让
get
更多
involved.
庄子人员参与到诉讼中，
We're hopefully looking at a class action
我们
of
希望有
around
集体诉
at
讼
least 10,
至少
15
有10个
litigants.
诉讼人参与，
And we're looking at really substantial
而且
compensation if we
您会
win.
得到很大一笔补偿。
You said
如
you've
果我
been
们
having
赢的话
financial troubles after your release.
你之前提过你们有经济压力，自从你被释放之后。
我的情况，
My condition.
所有的开销都很贵，
This has all been very
我也
expensive.
不可能找到教书工
And I
作。
can't get a lecturing job anywhere.
全家呢就只有小梅一份工作。
May is our only income now.
I'm really sorry to hear that. I want you to know that we're going to do everything we
我
can
们
to
将
make
尽
sure
一
you're
切努力
compensated.
确保您得到补偿。
谢谢。
That's okay. Bukachi. So, Julie?
Professor Lee, the thing we need to ask you about today is about
今天
testifying in our
我们要问
court.
您关于
As you might
上
know,
庭
the
作
court
证的
system
问
in
题。
America is a jury system,
美国的法庭
which
用的是
means
陪审
it'll
团
really
系统。
strengthen our case
如果
to
能
have
让
one of the
原告作
plaintiffs
证的话，
actually
会让我
testify
们的诉讼更
so they
有
can
力。
hear
他
firsthand
们可
what you've
以
been through.
亲耳听到您的经历。
We understand that traveling to America under
我
false
们理解
pretenses
假
is
借
a
你
pretty
秘
big
去美
risk
国
for you.
对您来说风险很
But
大。
because of your
但是
connections in academia,
因
we
为您
think
在
it might
学
be
术界
easier
的
for
关
you
系，
than some
我
of
们
the
觉得您
others.
去可能会比其他人更方便。
我愿意去。
He says he's willing to go.
Oh, well, that's great. So,
但你不能在这里问我问题。
What was that?
He's saying you can't do the interview like here in the house.
我们可以在北京找个地方。
We can get an office space in Beijing.
We're on a tight schedule.
I'm sorry, Beijing is just too risky. I've had meetings monitored there before.
在北京见面风险太大。
对不起，我很乐意去作
He
证，
says he's willing to testify.
但是我们必须要在另外一个地
But
方
we
准
have
备
to。prep him somewhere else.
Can you ask if he's concerned about their safety?
您是担心你们
Because
的
it'll be
安全吗
much safer in his
我的
house,
同
in
事
a
很肯
rural,
定
under controlled conditions than in a public setting,
比公共场所
particularly if we
更好
can get it done in a single day.
更好控制。
在这里不行。
为什么？
很抱歉，你们怎么要求都可以，但就是不能在这里。
What's the problem?
I don't know. He's just saying it can't be here. It can't be
谁想
here.
喝
I don't.
茶？
哦，谢谢。
谢谢。
很香。
哎，他会普通话呀、
Oh, not really. I don't really speak. 我会 understand some 中文 but I don't know. I don't really speak.
我去准备一些零食啊。
Can you ask him, how much does his wife know about his incarceration?
关于你坐牢的事，您太太知道多少？
我们从来不谈这事儿。
Was that... Did he say they've never?
Yes, they've never spoken about it.
How... Forgive me, Professor Lee. How is that possible? You were in detention for... You were gone for 5 years.
您5年没在家，
Where does she think he was for 5 years?
他以为你在哪里？
我们从来没谈过。
They've never talked about it.
我回来就像这个样子。
He says he came back in a wheelchair, so I guess they never.
Wait, does she even know? Does she know he was helping people break through the firewall, that he was denounced? Does she know about 庄子?
他知道庄子这事吗？
我不知道，
Jesus.
关键问题就在这里。
So that's why.
Yeah, no, I get it. Jesus, fuck. Okay, translate this. I understand this is a complicated situation.
I don't think.
Translate the fucking sentence.
Can I say it like in
No,
a gentler?
Evie, because I'm not his shrink. I'm his representation.
Get that? But if she
She already knows, man. They have some kind of, I don't know, maybe Chinese honor-bound vow of silence around it, but she has a TV in the house. There's no way she doesn't know.
Okay, but like imagine your husband starts talking about his terrorist activity in your house.
Eva?
Like
Eva, I am paying you. You are being paid to be my translator. You don't get input on issues I'm having with my client. Now, before he works out how much of a fucking child you're being, would you kindly translate?
对不起啊，饼干。
For Eva and Julie, the phrase fucking child is particularly loaded. You see, at their mother's funeral 2 months earlier, Eva, as the child better versed in Chinese culture, was slated to perform the ritual burning. It's a custom in Mahayana funerals for a relative of the deceased to burn a stack of paper money and a miniature house. In this way, it's said, the dead will receive material comforts in heaven as on earth.
谢谢。
谢谢.
When it came time for the bonfire, Eva approached the pile of paper objects, a can of gasoline and box of matches in hand. She lit a match, but the wind was too high. She lit a second, the same. She lit a third. No luck. The crowd grew restless. As she lit the fourth, Eva suddenly heard her mother's voice, as though she was there beside her, screeching, "That's perfectly good money you're burning." And there, in the center of the congregation, Eva was seized by an uncontrollable fit of laughter, one which rippled up from a potentially mistakable snort to an all-out cackle, much to the horror of the assembled congregation. Finally, Julie stormed up, muttered, "You're a fucking child," and set the house on fire herself.
我去厨房啊。
Evie?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Mr. Lee, you have already endured so much suffering
你
at the
已经
hands of
承
this
受了
regime.
那么多。
I know that this case will take an immense toll on you and your
你
family.
承受了这么多，
I would not ask you to endure more suffering.
但不要低估您太太承受的。
She's mistranslating.
If I was not fully confident
您太太肯定知道您被逮捕的原因，
that this case will improve the lives of activists around the
这
world
意味着她会支持您
by
的，
taking a stand against Chinese tyranny
不管什么代价。
She's mistranslating.
and exposing this regime for what it is.
她明显是个非常坚强的人。
She said, "Don't underestimate your wife's commitment to you. She must know why you were arrested, which means she will stand by you no matter the cost. She is clearly a very strong person."
我知道。
Is that a
你说的对，
is that a yes?
那你可以了吗？
我知道。
Evie,
Why is he?
is that a yes?
你可以在这里问我问题。
He says it's fine. You can ask your questions here.
Dallas, 2015.
Mr. McLaren and his colleagues knew about the existence of Zhuangzi. They knew that the Chinese government explicitly intended to target Zhuangzi activists. Activists like the next person you'll be hearing from. My client, Professor Li Dao. Between 2002 and 2006, Professor Li posted a number of articles on Zhuangzi. These articles detailed various ways you could break through the firewall to the World Wide Web. But he was very careful to conceal his identity and his activities on this platform. He was, after all, an expert in this field. But in 2006, Professor Li was arrested. How was he discovered? You already know the answer to that question. That was the year the Ministry of Public Security implemented Mr. McLaren's decentralized network topology, allowing them to internally monitor online traffic and target citizens like my client. In other words, Mr. McLaren and his colleagues knowingly put my client's life in jeopardy. Why did they do this? Out of pure and simple greed. Because they valued their bottom line more than they valued the rights and lives of Chinese citizens.
Palo Alto, 2013.
When I say call me back,
I'm
you
busy,
have
Bowman.
to call me back.
I'm busy. Someone suing us?
Yes. I've been trying
Who's
to
suing
reach
us?
8 Chinese dissidents.
What?
8
I heard you. Fucking what?
8 Chinese dissidents are suing us for criminal collusion with the Chinese government.
How? What? In China?
In Texas.
How?
It has to do with pirates. It's something of a legal loophole.
We pay you to foresee loopholes. Did you just say pirates?
Yes. Well, there's stranger precedent in the history of American legislation. For instance, it's technically still illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub.
What the fuck does that have to...
Absolutely nothing. I'm just a font of legal trivia.
What have they got on us?
This floated off on WikiLeaks.
But we shredded these. We shredded these, didn't we? Shred these?
I'm certainly surprised by their reappearance.
We did. We fucking shredded them.
Did you leave a copy lying around?
No.
Did someone on the board leave a copy lying around?
Bowman, I saw it with my own eyes. After the meeting, we gathered them and we fucking shredded them. Are we going to trial?
Hopefully it won't come to that.
Yeah? What's fucking hopeful about it?
We're going to propose a settlement. A generous settlement. And pray the matter doesn't make it any further.
So we're gonna pay them to shut up.
Yes. Well, we lawyers prefer the term settle.
Washington, D.C., 2012.
So, brass tacks. As you know, I represent an organization with the net worth of a Scandinavian nation's GDP, and as such, we have absolutely no interest in engaging with this trivial, though admittedly imaginative, bit of litigation. By the by, my compliments, very wily.
You didn't tell me she was this patronizing.
She's British.
Still.
I'm happy to report that our organization is willing to offer your merry band of Chinese terrorists an exceedingly generous settlement. In exchange for, well, blah, blah, keep it out of the press, you get the gist.
How generous?
We're not settling.
I'm not settling.
Jules,
We're not settling.
would you give us a second?
We don't need a second. Jane, I appreciate you coming all this way. There's the door.
I think you'd be wise to listen to your colleague, Miss Chen.
And I think you're scared. CLO for a multinational, former top-shelf barrister, and you've never seen anything like it. You don't know how to try this. You don't know how to begin trying this.
Miss Chen, respectfully, you've never seen anything like this. You're in talks.
That's right, we are. And we're going to try this like we would any other civil suit. Duty, breach, harm, causation, damages.
We'll bury you in paperwork.
Bring it. We're going to try this thing, Bowman, and we're going to win. We're going to drag your organization's name through the mud. We're going to expose your collusion. We're going to royally piss off the Chinese government. And more importantly, we're gonna win. And when we do, we're coming to you for twice this figure.
As a self-professed expert in torts, you might want to look up the definition of a class action. It typically involves multiple plaintiffs with names, not does 1 through 8.
Oh, we'll have named plaintiffs. Don't you worry about that. Plaintiffs and testimony.
You're not telling me you're going to get a dissident out of China to testify in a civil court in Dallas? Are you? You're getting someone out of China?
We'll be in touch.
This is a crusade. It's senseless, and it's at the expense of your clients. Prevail upon your colleague to see some sense.
He doesn't control me.
It's true. I'm the looks of the operation.
Hey, Bowman. How do you sleep at night?
I'm sorry?
I said, how do you sleep at night?
I have one of those Tempur-Pedic mattresses.
What? What's that face?
That's my you just turned down $10 million face.
We'll get 20, and it's not about the money.
You do know that money is one of the key components of a lawsuit. A plaintiff is wrong. They are therefore awarded financial damages, and sometimes from those damages, we, the lawyers, actually get paid our legal fees.
Landmark case, Rich. We're trying international human rights law as torts. It's not about the money.
Oh, yeah, it's about doing the right fucking thing. God damn it. You sure Professor Lee feels that way?
What's that supposed to mean?
I mean that your client is a guy in a wheelchair who can't get a lecturing job with a stack of medical bills and a teenage daughter.
He's not in it for the money, Rich. He's an activist. He's fighting for the rights of his people.
Is that something he actually said or something you've inferred?